Hey guys, so we already learned how to take a percent, such as 35%, and put it into a fraction. We just put it over 100, and then we simplified, and we were done. Today, we're going to take our fractions, and we're going to put them into a percent. So if you see the fraction 35 over 100, since it's over that 100, you can just go ahead and add a percent sign to it, and you're done. So 35 over 100 just equals 35%. So here we went from percent to a fraction. Now we're going fraction back to a percent. Let's take the number, this fraction here, 7 over 100. All you have to do is take the 7 off of the 100 and put a percent sign, and you're done. But our fractions aren't always going to be that easy and over 100. We could have the fraction 7 over 25. Well, you can make a fraction that is equal to the 7 over 25 by putting it, your denominator, set your denominator to 100. So let's do this. Let's look. So how do we get to 100? Well, 25 times 4. Whatever you do on the bottom, you must do on top. And 7 times 4 is 28. So now we have the fraction 28 over 100, which gives us 28%. So really, this fraction, 7 over 25, is 28%. Let's try another one. So just do this, we can save the paper. So I had the fraction 2/5, and I want to know what percent is 2/5. Well, again, set my denominator to 100. Well, how do I get to 100? Well, 5 times 20 is 100. So then I do the same thing on top. 2 times 20 equals 40. So now I take the fraction 40 over 100, take the 40 off of the 100, and just put a percent sign on it. Let's try another one. 31 over 50. Pause the video here and see if you can figure out how to make 31 over 50 a percent. Okay, so you probably put it set to 100 as your denominator, and then if you multiplied times 2, 50 times 2 is 100, 31 times 2 is 62. You take that 62 off of the 100 and put a percent sign on it, and you have 62%. What if they're not always that easy though? What if you had this number, 53 over 200? I want to find out what percent that is. I'll take this fraction and find the percent. Well, you do the same thing. You set it to 100, right? But instead of multiplying, we're getting smaller. So when we get smaller, we divide. So 200 divided by 2 gives me 100. So if I did 53 divided by 2, which you can use a calculator if you need to, is 26.5. So now I have the fraction 26.5 over 100. You just take that 26.5 off of the fraction and add your percent sign. How about this? What if you can't set it to 100, you have 9/12. And I want to find out what 9/12 is as a percent. Well, I know that 12, I can't set it to equal to 100. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to see, can I simplify this and see if that number can get set to 100. So I'm going to divide. I know that 9 and 12, I can divide both by 3. 3 is a factor of both. 9 divided by 3 is 3, and 12 divided by 3 is 4. Well, I know that now I can go ahead and use 4, because I made an equal fraction. I can use 4 as my number to get me to 100. So again, I'm going to set my denominator to 100, and I say, okay, how do I get from 4 to 100? Well, I know if I times it by 25, 4 times 25 will equal 100. 3 times 25 equals 75. So my fraction is now 75%. So 9/12, if I had 9 out of 12, that's 75%. So we've looked at if we have it set over 100. We looked at if we have a fraction that has a denominator of not 100, such as 25, 5, or 50. And we've also looked when we see our denominator is greater than 100, such as the 200 we divided. And then we also saw our denominator could not get straight to 100, right? We couldn't get it straight to 100, so we played around with the numbers and we simplified that fraction to get 3/4, and we're able to get to 100 that way. What if I have a mixed number? What if I have a mixed number? Well, this takes us back to our fraction days where we had to change it to an improper fraction. And I do that by saying, okay, 3 times 1 is 3, and then add my 2 gives me 5/3. Oops, sorry, I gave you the wrong problem. Scratch that out. Just kidding. My question should be 1 1/2. Sorry, 1 1/2. Pretend I didn't do that. Thanks, guys. All right, so 1 1/2. So I'm going to go ahead and say 2 times 1, same concept. 2 times 1 is 2, plus the 1 gives me 3/2. I have to make an equivalent fraction to 100. And here I say, okay, 2 times 50 gets me to 100. But now I do on top, I have 3 times 50, which is 150. My numerator is greater than my denominator, right? And that makes sense because I had 1 1/2. 1 1/2, I had a mixed number. So it's going to be greater than 100%. So my answer here would be 150%. So the only difference with a mixed number, such as 1 1/2, make it an improper fraction, and then find the equivalent fraction by setting it to 100 as my denominator, and then my numerator, 150. Please feel free to watch this again and make sure you have all these notes.